Well, it's another edition of In the House, and today we are looking at beautiful parts of Western North Carolina. Representative Mark Pless, welcome to In the House.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, we're not in the house, we're outside today, and it's a beautiful, beautiful day in Western North Carolina. Tell us what we're looking at.
This is Lake Junaluska. It's a community in Haywood County that they are a Christian-based organization. They are run by the community. They have a community watch group. They have a lot of folks administratively that make this happen, but they are a great partner with Haywood County. They bring a lot of people here, but they're also very receptive to the locals being able to use this facility.
Wow. Well, it sure is beautiful. It absolutely is beautiful. Now, you triggered a thought in my mind, and what I wanted to go with as a follow-up is lately, my job is to try to find a lot of good things to talk about for North Carolina. And lately, places like Lake Junaluska and the parks in the mountains and the parks at the coast have been written about in local media all across the state as having a big economic impact on local areas and for the state as a whole. Do you see that with that particular facility there, that they do have a positive economic impact?
I do see that a lot here.
Well,
they bring in a lot of groups from across the country that spend a week or two here during the summer. They have their own pool. They have their own activities areas. So they are bringing folks that ordinarily would have never experienced the mountains. Most of them are young folks, but they also do a lot for seniors and other groups. So they're able to get out and see what Western North Carolina looks like.
Yeah. Well, it sure is pretty, and it's about to get a lot prettier. Have the leaves started changing?
No, we got our first frost this morning. I came out and the ground was white, and it should be about 10 days and things will start really looking pretty.
Well, I tell you, there's nothing like North Carolina mountains in the autumn and the fall when the leaves are changing. Now, we sort of dove right in, but let me back up a little bit. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Now, you're in your first term as a representative in the North Carolina House of Representatives, and my little cheat sheet here says that you represent, let's see, Haywood, Madison, and Yancey counties. Is that correct?
That is correct. This is my first term. I was a county commissioner for 2 years, and Representative Presnell decided that she was going to call it quits and go home. She approached me and asked me if I would pray and consider about running for her seat. I did and was successful in 2020, and I've been in the House now for almost 2 years. Almost
2 years. So you've seen the extreme from a very long session to a very short session. And I've been here right around 10 years or so. I've never seen a short session like what you guys had. Speaker Moore said, "We're getting out of here 4th of July," and you sure did. What was it like being a part of those extremes where one seemed like it would never end and the other felt like it never really got going? It was over.
You know, I think for me, I enjoyed the long session.
Yeah.
It gave me more of an opportunity to learn how things work in Raleigh, to learn how to build those relationships so that I can be successful. We didn't get the budget accomplished until the end of the session before Thanksgiving. So it kind of worked out to where we were able to get the needs met and get our point of view across. And I think that helped me more than anything. The short session, I wasn't done personally because I got a ton of stuff I would like to see done, but I am grateful for the break. I have enjoyed the fact that I haven't had to be there in the summer. It's hot up here in the summer, but it's really hot in Raleigh in the summer. So I've enjoyed not having to be there after July 1.
Absolutely. Well, let's hit that for just a minute, Representative Pless. It's a long drive from where you're at to Raleigh, and you have to do that every week that you guys are in session. And there's a lot of your time that is constantly being demanded. People want you for this, for that. Lobbyists, citizens, everybody's pulling at you. What is it that is compelling you to want to go through all of that to serve the people of your district?
You know, if you'd have asked me 10 years ago, this would have never been anything on my mind. But when I became a county commissioner, it was really convenient. I had lived here my whole life. I was able to go out and I was able to meet folks and deal with things at a local level.
Right.
Well, when I won the seat to the House, the challenge has been to balance family life with everything else that's going on. So it's about 256 miles one way for me to get to Raleigh. As you said, I'm there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, typically get there late Monday night if we have early things on Tuesday. It's been difficult to make my schedule work, but it's been worth it because, especially in today's environment, folks don't need me to make laws. They need me to stand up for the ones that are already there. They need me to go to the agency that they're having trouble with and help them navigate. So the constituent services and the ability to just stand up whenever somebody is being wronged, that has been the greatest thing that has kept me moving forward. And that's something I don't think I experienced as a county commissioner because everything is local. There is very little control. Most of the control was something that we just didn't exercise if we didn't have to. So if I had to say one thing keeps me going, it's got to be taking care of the people.
Wow. You know what? That is, I'm going to write that down and probably use that at some point and give you credit for it, obviously. They don't need me to make laws. They need me to stand up for the ones that are in place, and maybe that's great. I've never heard it put like that. So I tip my, well, I don't have a hat, but I tip it to you anyway if I had one. That's excellent. And I know the people there in your district appreciate that attitude and appreciate your servant heart to help them. I think that heard that you guys have solved in some way or another every constituent issue that's come to your office, somebody needing help navigating state government. So that's good. That's awesome. You can't always do that. So
we've been very fortunate to be able to negotiate at least an agreement in most every situation that we've come up. A lot of times we get what we ask for, but a lot of it's just because no one ever asked before.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Time really flies when we're doing these interviews, so I don't want to, I could talk to you all day about your district and how beautiful it is, but you mentioned the budget, and that made me think for a minute about some of the representatives and senators were able to get funding for their district that never before had they been able to get because we have been doing well. I mean, I'm just going to say it like it is. The majority party for the last decade has been managing our state's finances in such a way that the people have benefited from tax cuts, lower taxes, and we've had less regulation, and it's just been a way to handle the taxpayer money that makes a lot more sense than, well, we see it right now, Representative Pless. Before the Republicans took charge in 2011, came to Raleigh in 2011, the majority party, Democrats, were spending, and boom, we had a recession. People were getting laid off and all of that. We've gone through that. The different approach for the last 10 years. Let's be prudent. Let's cut taxes. Let's save money for a rainy day. And the people have benefited greatly. Now, one of the ways that people have benefited is folks like yourself. As you mentioned a little while ago, you were able to go during those budget negotiations and bang the table a little bit and say, hey, you know, we got some needs here. And I think you were able to get some pretty significant needs addressed. Why don't you tell us about a couple of those that you were able to get in your district?
Well, I know a lot of people heard about Tropical Storm Fred when it came into Western North Carolina. The community just above where I live in Crusoe, and then the town of Canton, which is just below my residence, they got devastated worse than anyone.
Mm.
There was a lot of anxiety, a lot of things that troubled folks, and they were not able to handle this situation on their own. So they turned to us, and we were very fortunate. The leadership and everyone in Raleigh worked really hard. We looked at all the needs that were there. We were able to secure $153 million to come
Wow.
up here to help the folks with Tropical Storm Fred. The town of Canton got somewhere around $17 million in direct appropriations for water, sewer, infrastructure, their buildings, a lot of the things that they would have never done. They run on about a $4 million budget. So
Wow.
they would have never been able to recover. But the legislature was very receptive. They listened, and everyone stepped up and said, what can we do? Speaker Moore was here. The lieutenant governor was here. We had Representative Dixon. We had Representatives Clampett, Gillespie, Senator Corbin. We had a lot of folks that came to Western North Carolina. Representative Miller came all the way from the coast
Yeah.
to look, see what happened. And they took that back to Raleigh, and they have worked really hard with Representative Bell and the disaster committee, and they have found the money to put Haywood County back together, but specifically these communities.
Well,
That was wonderful. Now,
yeah. And you know what?
also,
That's an
I'm sorry.
amazing thing. That is an amazing thing that you were able to get accomplished for your district. And I think it's awesome.
Well, Madison County and Yancey County, I have also the new draw. I lose Yancey, which I'm not real happy about, but I understand numbers are numbers. So starting in the next term, I will only have two counties. Yancey County and Madison County both got a lot of sewer and water money. Madison County specifically got about $14 million. And the goal in that was to connect Mars Hill and Marshall with water and sewer.
Mm-hmm.
Marshall is on wells for the most part. Marshall is, during the last drought, they had to drill some emergency wells because there's no way to get water to them.
Wow.
Mars Hill has more water than they can use. The reverse is for Mars Hill. Mars Hill doesn't have as much sewer capacity as they would like to have. Well, when we connect all of these lines, Marshall can handle the sewer. If something happens and Marshall needs water, Mars Hill can handle the water. So it's a win-win for both of them, but it was something that Madison County could not afford with their budget to accomplish on their own. So they came to the state, and we were very fortunate to be able to help them.
Wow. You know, people don't hear about that, Representative Pless. They hear about, so-and-so got shot and we had this and that happen and this scandal and that, and the good that you're doing right there in the western part of the state. I'm so glad we're able to talk to you today because people just don't hear about these things. You know what I mean? I mean, what kind of news is it that, well, one town's going to have sewer capacity? Well, you know what? When you need sewer capacity or water, that's a big deal. So I think that's amazing.
Well, I have enjoyed the ability to be able to learn about the areas that I didn't know. Haywood County, I grew up here. I'm 55 years old. Madison County is close enough. I have been there. I knew it, but I know it better now than I did 2 years ago. And I've always said, if you can show me your problem and show me what you need me to do, I will do everything in my power to be able to help you accomplish that. And so far, that's been successful. It's took a lot of work, a lot of conversations, but that's what I'm there for. I'm there to help them.
Yeah, well, I'm sure the people in your district appreciate the hard work that you are doing on their behalf. I want to ask you this.
Okay.
My parents went through Hurricane Hugo in Charleston, South Carolina, and it devastated that area. And even today, people that I know, I grew up in Charleston, there's an emotional, I don't want to say attachment. Anytime there's a storm, what they went through with Hugo triggers this emotional response. They get real concerned. Are the people there now with Ian projected to rain all over the world for the next 10 days? Are you guys seeing that same kind of response? Are people getting a little nervous about flooding?
We have a unique issue that we've not been able to resolve. We have a lot of money to clear debris with, but our streams, there were so many trees taken down with Tropical Storm Fred. It's just such a mountain to accomplish.
Right.
We got some more budget money this time. The feds have given us some money, but we've not been able to get all of the debris out of the waterways.
Mm.
We know what's going to happen if the waters get up. Those trees that are lodged at different places will move.
Wow.
That's a huge concern for folks, because once it blocks up a pathway, the water will find another course. Now, it may divert through houses, it may take out bridges. There's a lot of potential. So yes, everybody's worried about it. I've had people already talking to me about, what are we going to do? What kind of plans are we going to make? And we're going to have some conversations tomorrow and see where we are. But we're at the point now to where God's in complete control. Whatever happens is going to happen. We've just got to make sure that we're there for folks to put it back together if we get more destruction. And that's what I keep assuring folks. I'm still going to fight. We were successful. Everyone was sympathetic. Everyone helped us. The state has money. We're going to hopefully be able to weather this and not have any issues. But if we do, we're going to put it back together.
Well, I can't think of anyone, and I mean this with all my heart, can't think of anyone in the General Assembly that I personally would rather have running point if, God forbid, something like that happens again. I think you're the man. I appreciate your time today, Representative Pless. I think you're doing a fabulous job for your district, for the people that you represent. It's obvious to me that you genuinely care about them and you take your responsibilities seriously. So I'm going to be saying prayers that that doesn't happen, that you guys don't have those kind of serious flooding issues. But as I said, if that is the case, you are your people are well served having you as their representative. So thank you for all that you do for your district and for the state of North Carolina. And thank you for being our guest here on In the House.
Thank you. I have enjoyed it very much so. Maybe we can do this again after the storm passes.
Yeah, we will do it again. And I appreciate your time. And thank you very much, sir. Have a great day.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right.